Hello, lovelies. So this is going to be the Amityville Murders Part 3 for Freaky Fridays. This one is not going to have pictures because pretty much all the pictures I could find are the ones that were uploaded in the last Amityville videos. This is basically the myths that were told about the hauntings and the facts of the hauntings. So basically what they're saying is they don't think that he was really possessed. They don't believe he was possessed. That was just what he said he was. I think he was. I don't know. But there was basically a lot of stories that were being put out there about the house that was not true. So we're gonna be revealing the facts tonight. Revealing the facts. Word. Okay. The myth is the Shinnecock Indians resided in Amityville. The fact is, the Shinnecock Indians resided nowhere near Amityville. Besides, all of the Indians on Long Island were part of the Montauk Nation, and it was the Europeans who placed names on the inhabitants of the local areas. Regardless, the Massapequans were the group that would have most likely visited Amityville. The myth is 112 Ocean Avenue was an Indian sanitarium where the mad and dying would be left and exposed to the elements to die. The fact of it is there is no record that there ever was an Indian burial ground or a sanitarium on Ocean Avenue, according to Long Island Native American expert John Strong, author of We Are Still Here. Many Indian groups lived along the tidal bays in the area, but as for the claims about the Native Americans made in John Anson's The Amityville Horror, he insists that leads him to believe it was all an entertaining hoax. Representatives of the local Indian population personally took author Rick Osuna to several abandoned Indian cemeteries that are right outside of the village of Amityville. Sadly, these grounds are now used as dumping areas. Regardless, the native people's oral histories are quite amazing, so if burial ground would have existed, then they would have known about it. Besides, these native people were kind and gentle people, so it was absurd to think that they would leave anyone out exposed to the elements or die or curse a land. Rather than they took care of their sick, dying, and mentally insane, and even showed the European settlers how to do the same. And the myth would be a witch named John Ketchum escaped from Salem, Massachusetts during the witch trials and built his house on or near the Amityville house to continue his devil worship. It is reported that his body was buried or near the property of 112 Ocean Avenue. The fact is, a prominent citizen named John Ketchum did return from Ipswich, Massachusetts, a community near Salem, and settled in Huntington Township on Long Island. While in Massachusetts, this John Ketchum acted as a representative to the local government there before returning to Long Island, where some of his family resided. He eventually became a prominent figure in Huntington before his death in 1967, and he was survived by his wife Bethia and 4 children: John, Samuel, Edward, and Mary. By the way, that Huntington Township is more than 10 miles from Amityville. The Ketchum family has no information regarding any John Ketchum being a witch. The myth is the owner of the original house at 112 Ocean Avenue had to move their house down the street because they were plagued with supernatural problems. The fact is, John Moynihan purchased the property at 112 Ocean Avenue from Annie Ireland in 1924. Within a year, the Moynihans needed a bigger home because, like most families, theirs grew inside. While their new home was being built, they moved their small cottage down only a matter of 100 yards and lived there until the construction was completed. The myth is the Red Room was a gateway to hell. The fact is, the Red Room was nothing more than a little area underneath a stairwell that the failed children sometimes stored their toys or used as storage. Today it no longer exists. since the current owner has renovated the basement and constructed over it. The myth is American International Pictures, the Amityville horror movie, could not be filmed in the real house because the crew was too scared. The fact of the matter is, the village of Amityville viewed the ghost story as a hoax and did not want a film crew in their sleepy community, so they denied shooting permits. Myth: Kathy Lutz has the 3 dreams in the Amityville horror about Louise DeFeo. First, Kathy Lutz wakes up screaming because she saw that Mrs. DeFeo died by a gunshot wound to the head. She was shot in the head, Kathy screamed. The second dream consisted of Mrs. DeFeo's body being removed from the DeFeo plot at St. Charles Cemetery and re-entombed in Brooklyn. The last dream consisted of Mrs. DeFeo making love to a painter of the DeFeo portrait. Fact: first, Mrs. DeFeo died from 2 gunshot wounds to the upper body and not a head or neck wound, even though Louise DeFeo's head seems to be near blood splatter in the crime scene photos. Second, the Brigantes never moved Mrs. DeFeo's body from the family plot because they wanted Louise with her children. This was recently confirmed in record search of the cemetery. Lastly, there is no evidence of an affair besides Mr. DeFeo constantly checked up on Louise with the red phone that only he knew the number to, since he was always so paranoid. Furthermore, William Weber admitted in July 27, 1979, Associated Press interview that while discussing their business venture, Kathy concocted the nightmare idea about Louise DeFeo. Myth is the 250-pound front door of the house was unexpectedly torn off of the hinges, and a locksmith was called out to repair the door. Fact is, the door was a screen door, not a storm door or a front door. It was originally explained, torn off its hinges with the gusty winds coming from the Great South Bay, an easily screen door can easily be damaged. Myth: the Catholic Church is hiding evidence that something existed in the Amityville house. Fact: Father Ralph Picaro admitted that his only contact with the Lutzes was a phone call. Questions remain whether or not he even ventured to the famed residence. The assistant to the Vicar General of the Rockville the diocese overseeing Amityville, on May 15, 2012, sent author Rick Asuna a letter stating their position. In short, the letter stated the diocese maintains the Amityville horror is a false report. So that is part 3 of the Amityville murders. Basically, Amityville is saying that there was no way that this guy was possessed. That is all hoax. They did a lot of research to check in on it, and I guess it proved all false. There was a little truth to it. Like all stories, all myths, they all have some kind of truth behind them, but they always turn out being wrong. So, hold on, getting a drink. So I'm going to be working on my next one here shortly. Get the information for next week. I'm not sure which one that is, but I'm going to do it. And I might here in a little bit do another video of something more serious, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this yet, considering I can't do my IOP right now, due to the fact that I'm still trying to appeal my insurance. So I don't know if I'm going to get into anything serious until I can get to my counselor. I don't know. I might. I don't know yet. I will let you guys know, but I wanted to go ahead and get this film so I can edit it either tonight or tomorrow, and I will upload it tomorrow before midnight. But anyways, I'm gonna go for now, guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and stay freaky, guys. Stay freaky.